Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to day 20 of 21 business days of Skilling You Softly as I continue to take a deeper dive into a soft skill each day. And I briefly discuss the importance of personal and professional growth as I am Sarita Price. I am the coach who is skilling you softly to live and lead with confidence and boldness in every area of your life, the marketplace, as well as your personal life as well. So, welcome again. It has been a phenomenal journey. Can you believe we're on day 20? I can't. It's wow. That time is really going, but it's been some great days and great feedback. So, phenomenal as always. So, let's go ahead and get started. And I always do even though this is day 20, I always do a recap of explain what exactly are soft skills. So, soft skills are those desirable qualities or those transferable skills that don't really require or depend on acquired knowledge. So, in essence, soft skills are your people skills, which are needed in every area of your life, especially if you are a leader. And if you recall, I said on day one, in some capacity, everyone is a leader. All right. So the soft skill today, we're going to be touching bases on briefly is one that um, is required. It is a requirement. Now, does it always happen? No, we can see that in the news world, in the business world, as well as just non-business. Some people have a higher level of work ethics. Some people don't. But in essence, work ethics is what one of the soft skills that me personally I live by to try my best. And we're going to be touching briefly once again. Remember, I said that these soft skills all intertwine. And I think it was on day 12 we talked about. Let me go back and look. We talked about day 12. We talked about integrity, which you're going to see this in here as well. And then on day 16 we talked about responsibility. So these are two soft skills you're going to see today. So basically, I mean, work ethics is, do what is right. There's a quote that, I've hear a lot, especially coming up in the world from a professional HR standpoint. Do what is right, not what is easy. Now, with that said, sometimes, for some people it may not be easy, but do the right thing. In essence, work ethics is really the capacity to maintain appropriate moral values within the workplace. Do what is right, not what is easy. Are you coming to work on time? Are you doing what's supposed to be done? Are you taking shortcuts? Are you taking longer lunch hours? Now we've all, been a little guilty of that. But if you're going to do something, do you have the approval? You know, Work ethics, doing what is right, not what is easy. And then the attitude that shapes the way an individual perform. Your work ethics is one of those soft skills, and I put it on the level with emotional intelligence. Your IQ will get you in the door, and then remember I recalled in emotional intelligence, it said your IQ would get you in the door, but your EQ is what get you promoted. I'm going to put this as well, because if you start off with a company or organization, it doesn't matter, corporate America, nonprofit, the private sector, public sector, what have you, having good work ethics can help you actually get you promoted in a position, because they see that they can, when you're talking about work ethics, this builds trust as well, which I'm going to really go on to the next slide, because it's kind of some of the work ethic skills. um, being reliable or do what you say. Whatever you're going to do it exactly. Being dedicated. Are you dedicated to what you committed to do on that job? When you um, receive that offer letter and you send it back signed or what have you, electronic copy, whatever, whatever capacity, it's kind of like a contract. You're saying that, listen, we're going to trade. You're going to, reward me with monetary value, benefits, other benefits within the company. I'm going to provide a service or a product for you. So making sure that you are that you are reliable, and then that you are dedicated to do what you state you're going to do. That's all part of work ethic skills. This is one of those skills. It's I don't want to say it's diminishing, but maybe the word that I'm looking for, maybe it's not really, work ethic skill, but I know loyalty. You don't find that many employees as loyal to the certain organizations as you used to, but it depends on the organization. But also to being disciplined. Work ethics require you to be disciplined. Are you disciplined? And one of those, when I think about being disciplined, I think about the soft skill we talked about, time management. Because time management require you to be disciplined. Getting up, if you know you have to be at work at 8 a.m., are you getting up in enough time to get dressed to be at work? I would say being at work before 8 a.m. So you have to have discipline on your workout routine. Some of the things, when you talk about health, let's talk about personal development as well. When you're dealing with your health, are you disciplined enough to get up every morning to do a routine? Now, to be honest, that's one of the things I struggle with, especially if I've worked late or I'm in school and I've actually been up at 1 o'clock in the morning trying to finish up a paper or writing my dissertation. It's kind of hard to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning. But no, some mornings I push through, and then some mornings, like this morning, I didn't quite make it at 6 a.m. But being setting that, goal of waking up to be disciplined to do what needs to be done in order for you to achieve the goals that you said that you want to achieve. Okay. Another work ethnic skill is productivity. That ties into every last one of these soft skills, because from research, from experience, many times employees, and let me just say this, being productive, it's a work ethic skill. Now, can some things really deter whether or not the particular person, that if you're not productive? Of course it can. But see, this is still where work ethic comes into play. If you are on a job that you no longer want to be there, or you're having some issues, don't slack on your productivity. And it happens. It does happen, but I'm saying you have a decision to make. Okay? This is still part of work ethics. If you're not happy there, you're looking for another job, still continue to do your job until you leave, because that is having good work ethics. I recall an old saying, or has old people or used to say, you don't ever want to burn your bridges after you cross them, because believe me, you do that, it's going to be hard for you to go back to a company. Or not only that, work ethics plays a huge what word am I looking for? It is a huge factor in your career, because I always remember my parents telling me that, Sarita, don't ever burn a bridge after you cross over it, because you never know when you have to go back. Now, with that said, it may not necessarily be that company or that job, but recall this: You work for people, you have a supervisor. It's not said that that particular supervisor is going to always be with the company. Who knows? If you burn a bridge down the road and you apply for another company, and then your old supervisor who remember your work ethics is now has a chance to be your new supervisor at this new organization, what are the chances are that you're going to get that job? No. If you didn't have good work ethics at that previous job, no. And let me tell you something I learned as well in the world of HR when it comes to work ethics, and not burning bridges after you cross over them. In the world of recruiting, talent development, talent acquisition, whatever uh, hot name they're using now, which I think is talent acquisition, these talent recruiters, even though they make for work for different companies, this is what I know for a fact, especially in a certain industry, especially, for example, Memphis is the supply chain hub of North America. This is the headquarters. So there's a lot of warehouses here. There are a lot of supply chain networks here. Okay. Different, that maybe sell different products and different services, but you can best believe there is a network. Recruiters know each other. And if they know someone that worked at company ABC and they could work for company XYZ, they're going to call that company, hey, say, listen, this person is applying for a job here. Then they may not, they're going to inquire. And they can say, oh, yeah, by the way, she was great, yada, yada, yada. Or there's like, well, there were some, they may not, by law, you cannot really go into detail. You're not supposed to. But one question still, you just have to be honest that there's a network. So you don't ever want to make sure you don't ever want to burn your bridge. Make sure you have good work ethics. Okay, I'm not going to dwell too much on that one. Okay, the next one is cooperation. That's part of work ethics. Cooperation is actually you can tie that into the soft skill of teamwork, because we talked about teamwork as well, what it takes to work in a team and be cooperative, because at the end of the day, it's not about you as an individual. It's about trying to achieve that common goal on whatever project that you're working on. So being, you don't want to always be the difficult one in the team all the time. Never want to cooperate. There are times that, you have to actually agree to disagree. You actually have to come to a senses that, okay, what is best for the company, or what is best for the overall, the greater good of everybody, pretty much. So that is important. Integrity. We talked about integrity day 12. Do what you say and say what you're going to do. Have integrity, doing the right things. That is part of your work ethics. Because if you recall, I talked about integrity as far as being a leader. That builds trust. That builds trust with your team, your direct reports, as well as your supervisor and your overall co-workers within your organization. Responsibility. I talked about that on day 16. Being responsible as well. That is key to gaining trust. It's a great part of work ethics. And these overall, it's just, really, which brings me to the next one and the last one, professionalism, being professional. Now, there's different, as far as professionalism, there's certain things that I don't care where it is. I don't care where, if you in the C-suite or you work in the floor, directly connected to the customers or warehouse. I don't care where it is. You always wanted to maintain a form of professionalism. You can't say everything that you want to say or do everything that you want to do or talk to people any kind of way. First of all, that's not a good look. It can get you written up and possibly terminated. So you will always want to be professional at all times, even though when you don't feel like it, because I'm just being honest. Sometimes we in the work, and I'm transparent. If you guys hadn't learned that now, I am. Sometimes there are things people say, and it's just like you think in your head, that's the most ridiculous. Like, what have they had their coffee this morning? What is the deal? And you thinking these things, but you just can't say that, because that's when you start violating, run into uh different code of conduct, possibly issues. But you have to be professional. I'm just going to give you this quick tip. One of the things that um, I have learned, especially working in the field of human resources, basically in training, and sometimes I get challenged in my training courses and my coaching as well. And some of the things is not really relevant to what I'm talking about, but it's just a personal opinion. I still have to be professional, and what I normally do in the beginning of my training sessions, I do what I call, let's set some rules for the remainder of this day, or ever how long the training course may be. And actually, sometimes I get someone from the audience. If it's on a webinar, I have it on my slides, and then sometimes if it's person, which I'm so ready to go back to certain training classes being in person. Nevertheless, I have a flip chart or what have you. I may have write it. What are the rules? What some of the whether we're going to respect each other's opinions. We're going to not have our cell phones on. We're going to not be courteous of your coworkers. Respect is one of those. So that's part of being professional. Um, and if make sure you learn how to speak in a professional way, that takes time. So it's really funny. I can tell someone who comes, who's new to the work environment versus someone maybe seasoned, that you have to learn how to craft your words in a way that it gets the point across. And remember, that goes back to the soft skill of what? Communication. Learning how to communicate in a professional manner, making sure that you're getting your point across. And then there's sometime in what's professional is not saying anything, being silent. And when I say that, I mean sometimes, in order to, let me just give you a tip on how to do this. If someone says something that is not professional, you don't want to um, act in that manner as well. What did our former First Lady Michelle Obama say? When they go low, you go high. Because what I've learned how to do is just pause, regroup, get my thoughts together, and make sure I communicate it to in a professional manner, because I value work ethics. That's one of the things I do, having good work ethics. So I could say a lot more on that. I'm not, because, like I said, all of these tie into each other as well. So just a brief recap: work ethic skills involve being reliable, being dedication, being disciplined, productivity, cooperation, integrity, responsibility, and professionalism. These are all part of having work ethic skills. And if you know that you need to work on that, this is not, it's a soft skill, you can work on those. It takes practice. And always, how I've learned is from experience, having a mentor, having coaches as well to be there for me. Now, let me say this too about professionalism as far as work ethic skills. Communication. This is one of those things I had to master. Okay. Part of communication, if we recall, go back and look at that replay. Communication, effective communication, was day 6 soft skill. Remember, I talked about facial body language, which includes facial expressions, nodding your head. If you notice, I use my hands a lot when I'm talking about that. Facial expressions. Sometimes your facial expressions can be unprofessional if you don't watch it. So, you have to make sure that, remember, I always said having a poker face, right? So you want to make sure, as far as, how you communicate in a professional manner, make sure you think about, your facial expression as well. And this is actually a piece of one of my posts I post all the time, and one of my created. I talked about, which it has a couple of soft skills. I said, while your technical skills may get your foot in the door, your people skills are what opens the doors to come. Your work ethics, your attitude, your communication skills, your emotional intelligence, and a whole host of other personal attributes are the soft skills that are really critical for your career. And they are. Work ethics is definitely one of those if you want for your career, even for your personal life as well. You can have ethic, you have to have those, as well as especially integrity. But that, like I said, that was enough for soft skills within itself. Okay. All right. So as we come to today, to an end of this day 20 of 21 business days of Skilling You Softly, as always, stay and keep in touch with me. My email address and all things Sarita is Linktree from Sarita's Pen. You can contact me on all my social media platforms, as well as I have books and other products. I even have apparel, so you can go to that link. And of course, I have a mailing address as well. More webinars coming up. I had a download this morning. I always say download when I'm giving things. So stay tuned for a lot more to come. And join me tomorrow for day 21. This is going to be the last day of 21 business days of Skilling You Softly, as I talk about the last soft skill. And you'll see this particular soft skill really ties into every last of one of the 20. So I want to thank you guys for coming today. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, same place, same time. And remember this: soft skills get you through hard times. Have a great remainder of the afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.